The vocabulary for Section 1.3 are factors, which are the numbers being multiplied in a multiplication problem. So if you were multiplying 2 times 3, the factors are going to be the 2 and the 3. The product is the answer to a multiplication problem. And the other one is area for vocab. Area is going to be the inside dimensions to a shape of some sort. Okay. Start out with multiplying whole numbers. First goal. Basically, again, it's just simply multiplying numbers, just like one we've always done. Nothing fancy here. 2 times 2 would be 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Now notice where I'm putting the numbers as my answer. 2 times 1 is 2. So the hundreds go under the hundreds, the tens go under the tens, the ones go under the ones. Now I'm moving over, remember, when you multiply by 10, so that first number is going to be under where you start. So 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 1 is 1. Notice how we're moving it across here. We can fill in a 0 if you would like. Now we're done multiplying because we multiplied by the 2, we multiplied by the 1, and then we just add at this point. 2 and 6 is 8, 3 and 2 is 5, 1 drops down. So our answer is 1,584. Another example, we're just taking a single digit this time. We had 2 digits, so it's just simply straight multiplication. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 7 is 35, and again that number is going to go under here, the 5, but I can only put 1 digit, so that 3 has to carry. 4 times 5 is 20, plus the 3 gives us 23, so the 1's number is going to be put here, and that 10's is going to carry over. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17. So our answer here is 17,355. So when we multiply, that answer is going to go underneath. When I multiply by a power of 10, so 10 or 100 or whatever, that first multiplication number is going to start under the number that we multiplied by. Another skill they're asking you to do, the second objective, is talking about estimating the product of whole numbers. So in here again, whenever we're estimating, we're trying to do it in our head. So we're going to round this by using front-end rounding again. So what we have here, with our biggest number is in the 4. It's 4, it's in the 100 spot. So we're going to round this to the nearest 100. 43 is going to round to 40. Everything behind is going to go to 0. So 432 to the nearest 100 is 400. Here our largest value is in the tens. So take this one, the one behind, 8's round up. It's going to be closer to 80 than it is to 70. So this becomes 80. There's nothing in front. There's nothing to stay there. Okay. So now we're going to multiply a much simpler problem. So we multiply 8 times 4 is 32. Is kind of the shortcut method I'm showing you here. 1, 2, 3 zeros. Let's look at that kind of long way though. Okay, again, we're always going to start multiplying under the value that we're going. So 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. So we didn't have any advantage, but we have to go through the motions just like what we did with this problem. Now we're moving over. We're starting under the 8. Okay, so 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 4 is 32. And then again, we're going to add all of these. Okay, so the answer is the answer. Whoops, left a 0 off up there. Okay, so it's going to be the same answer, just depending on how you want to do it. Okay? Objective number 3, find the area of a rectangle. Well, in this particular case, we have something that is 2 units wide and 3 units long. So we have 3 units here, and we have 2 units wide. So as you can see, when we divide this up, then we have a total of 6 units. And mathematically, the area of a rectangle is going to be length times width. Sometimes you see it as base times height. So the length here is 3, the width is 2, and that's how we get our 6. And since these are units times units, we're going to have the answer is all going to be units squared. And that squared units means whenever we see that, that's going to mean area. Okay, that's what that means. Whenever you have that unit squared, whether it's centimeters, kilometers, whatever, when it's squared, put that 2 because we're taking units times units. So we really have 2 units times 3 units. So we multiply the whole numbers first, gives us our 6, and then units times units is units squared. You have to remember that for all area problems. Look at some samples again of this in our homework. Problem number 53, they're going to have 38 yards long or length times 11 yards wide. And you're going to just simply do length as 38 yards times 11 yards. Again, I would just simply do the multiplication first. You can do that on the calculator if you would like. Or we can do it longhand since we're practicing our multiplication. So let's write it out this time. 1 times 8 is 8, because again we're always starting to write the numbers under the number we're multiplying. 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, we're done with that number. So now we're moving over to the tens column and we're multiplying by that. 1 times 8 is 8. Again, that number is going to start under that column. 1 times 3 is 3. And now we're going to add. We can fill this in if we'd like, if that helps you. 0 plus 8 is 8. 3 and 8 is 11. So that's going to carry 3 and 1, which is going to give us 4. And since this is yards times yards, this is going to be yards squared. Again, if it works better for you to do it on a calculator, perfectly acceptable. A shortcut for a square is side squared. So S is the side, which means side times side, which when we think about it, of a square, all the sides are exactly the same. And again, we can also think of it as kind of a length times width deal, but they're all the same as for the sides, so that's why the side times side versus length times width is the same. So 10 times 10 is going to give us 100, and again we are units squared because it's units times units. Problem number 63, I want to draw your attention because we can do it in a couple of different ways. So we have 2 rectangles. They are both 26 times 9. Okay, so if we're finding the area of one and we're doing length times width, and the length is 26, the width is 9, and this is a meter and a meter. So 26 times 9, you can do that longhand. 6 times 9 is 54, so the 4 drops down, the 5 is going to carry. 2 times 9 is 18, plus the 3 gives us 234. So each one of these small boxes is 234. We don't really need to do the problem again because if this is 26, this is going to be 26. So we've already done the math, and so this is also 234. And then we can just add those up to give us our 8, 6, and 4. And again, this is going to be meters squared. A simpler way might be thinking, okay, well, what if I just squish these two together to where I have a rectangle pushed right next to the other rectangle? There's still 26 and 9, but if this is 9 and 9, gives me a total of 18. I could do 26 times 18 if that's a simpler problem. You're going to either multiply and add or add and multiply, depending on whatever works best for you. And again, then we would do our math. 8 times 6 is 48. Carry the 4. 2 times 8 is 16 plus the 4 gives me 20. And moving over, 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. I'm going to add then, and I still get my 468. And again, these are meters So our answer is always going to be meters squared. If you don't do that, your problem is going to be wrong. So remember to do that. Okay? Have fun.